Join the revolution starting inside. An instrumental part of Agora worldwide. Agora worldwide. Agora worldwide. Counter economics. Agorist strip. Black market click. Move a quick flip. Can't regulate this. Agorist strip. Black market click. Move a quick flip. Can't regulate this. Agorist.
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 Nexus. Agorist.
Agorist.
Agorist Next Podcast. I'm Brandon. I've got my great co-host Dag. How you doing, Dag?
Hey, dude. I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm all right. Got some pretty good news stories for you guys, and we just want to kind of put our spin. We'll put our spin on it philosophically if we can. But yeah. This episode's sponsored by Presearch, great decentralized search engine. Earn crypto as you search, and keyword stake, all the good stuff. And
they're making big moves, man. I like it.
Yeah, I do too. It's great.
The value on their token's been going up, and I don't know if we shared this before, but they they've been made as a default option for a search engine on Android devices in Europe. Is that what happened?
Yep.
Yeah, so they're getting a bit more mainstream, which is, fucking great. It'll be really cool if, they get that as a default option in the US, but hey man, it's a start.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, somebody said to me, the comments I always get in text are like, okay, if it's so private and stuff, how come I've got to put my email address in? It's like, dude, you can't you don't have an anonymous email address? Like, if you don't have an anonymous email address, like how private are you? If you don't have a private email address, like, are you even concerned about your privacy right now? So yeah, but it's to hold your crypto. You need some kind of exactly to hold your crypto.
They don't store your search history, so it's like the two things aren't even connected. You know what I mean? So if you have your account, I guess as far as we know, but it's probably like a thing that people can check. I'm not a coder. I don't know how to check that stuff. But I think that Colin was saying like that was like they're like the predictive, like the one thing we still use Google for, spelling shit, that he was saying that like one of the issues with doing that is because, well, then we got to store data, or we got to store, search histories one way or another in order for that to be a thing that functions. So that was sort of one of the things that they were trying to overcome or figure out a way around. But they don't store, they don't know not even just who's searching for what, but what anybody's even searching for. They don't store that. So, it's like moot.
And then looking at how the decentralized search engine actually works, I don't see how they can spy on you in the first place, because the whole entire search engine is decentralized. They're just like randomized miners who don't even know who you are that help with searches. And so yeah, it's
no matter what, okay, so like I use encrypted text messaging, I use encrypted email, I use all this stuff, but you know what? I still assume somebody's listening. You know what I mean? Because
that's the world we live in.
Yeah, ultimately, how can you ever really know? Part of me is like, government's a bunch of dopes, but the NSA is a huge thing, so I don't really put anything past them, or as to, who isn't, how honest, any of these companies might be, I'm not talking about Presearch, they're great, but, any of these other encrypted email services or anything like that, so it's, I still assume, and still, just go under that assumption, but at least I feel like I'm at least doing something, I feel like I'm getting some sort of cover, but I don't know.
And these people who are so concerned about how, because they've got to give an email address for privacy, how private is it? Well, it's more private than Google. It's more private than DuckDuckGo. It's more private. I think Microsoft owns DuckDuckGo. Is that correct?
I don't know. I heard that the DuckDuckGo was like way like Chinese government-ish, but I was like, they're way over there. But I really don't know. I believe that because it's everybody's buying everybody now. It's still 6 companies that own everything, unfortunately. So as soon as anything gets like big enough to be cool, they got some cool service. As soon as it's big enough to where like enough people like adopt it, it's like, oh yeah, somebody big's gonna come buy them. And then you really got to wonder what you're dealing with at that point. But at any rate, I'm not sure on DuckDuckGo. But if you like DuckDuckGo, you can still search it for Presearch. So, hey, either way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can switch all your search engines there.
I've been trying to be better about stuff in the last year or so, VPN and all that. But, I definitely get a lot less targeted ads. That makes me feel good. So anyhow, we want to jump into some of this here news roundup. That's such a funny way to say that. I don't know why I like it so much, but
yeah.
I want to. This one's really stupid, but I wanted to start off with this one just because it'll be quick. But we have a new third party because you know how much we love the biggest third party that already exists in the country and how effective they are. But there's a new third party. It's headed up by Andrew Yang. You guys remember him? What was he, a presidential candidate for the Democrats or something? 2020, I think even he was running. But universal basic income dude, blah, blah, blah. He basically just saying like, oh, it's a pity we only have 2 options, so I'm going to start a third party. Of course, there's like hundreds of third parties already. So, but anyhow, I guess he got a book coming out, so maybe this is just to push his book too. But it says that basically whatever his party is going to go for is ranked choice voting and open primaries, fact-based governance, which is just hilarious because just like anything with this, well, who says what the facts are? You could always say you have a fact-based government if, the fact sayers, we're part of the government. And then human-centered capitalism will also promote universal basic income. Criticizes the duopoly, etc. So I don't know. I mean, as far as candidates go, Yang was definitely different. I didn't ever like him, or anything about him. I feel like somebody who's that good at business, like, has to know they're full of shit with this. But, I don't know. What do you think, man? You going to vote for Yang?
Yeah, I can't vote because I've got principles, but
so you're already dedicated to the LP. I know. Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's interesting what Yang's doing. What's his slogan? Way forward for communism or something?
It was something. I don't remember what his slogan was.
It's like a way forward. I don't know. I'm like for communism.
Yeah.
But,
well, the name of the party is the Forward Party. So you just see that like name, and it's like, oh yeah, that sounds way close to progressivism, So,
so you're basically Democrats, right? Like,
yeah, but younger and hipper. So I mean, if the old fogies like Biden won't just, I'm not going to say that, won't just get out of the way, maybe the youngs got to start their own party, I suppose. But anyhow, so moving on, we have talked about vaping and tobacco and like menthol laws and regulation and stuff like that in the past. So I decided to do some research on that. I've heard some new chatter about vaping laws and everything, and I think you actually posted a meme on Twitter that showed that they had like removed vaping products from a convenience store and had like a sign up saying because of health concerns they removed them, and of course cigarettes are still surrounding them, still on the shelf, still selling that, which is just, I mean, it's just funny. I mean, I don't know if vape's better for you or not, but like, we know like smoking cigarettes isn't good for you, right? So the irony is funny, but there's a couple there's a couple cool stories here. One thing here that we'll get all these shared in the show notes and everything, of course. But there's this Time magazine article, and yeah, I know like Time sucks, but like there's some interesting stuff here in the article. Hold on. But basically, what they're saying is that the way that a lot of these companies are getting around the new vaping regulations, because what it is if you want to sell any like vaping product, you basically have to submit an application to the FDA, which they will reject. So they're not really allowing any new vaping products to come into being, because they are allowed, for whatever the way the law works, they're allowed to regulate tobacco products, and it's considered tobacco products. What they're doing is they are having synthetic nicotine made, so it's not derived from tobacco, but it's synthetic. So they're sort of allowed to sell it in a gray area. They're allowed to sell these products as long as they're using this synthetic nicotine. And in the article, they say things like, and there's actually a video attached to it that isn't bad either. But they say things like, like, well, we just about had teen smoking wiped out, and then vapes come along, and now teen addiction rates and blah blah blah, and so we need to make regulations to control that. And of course, the obvious thing is, well, who the fuck asked you, to come in and manage, all this shit, manage teen addiction and teen smoking. I'm not saying teens should smoke. Like, it's not good for you guys. Don't do that. But like, I gotta be a little bit of a hypocrite. I was smoking at 14, so whatever. But like, seriously, where it's just like, oh no, we just get to come do whatever we want. These are not that voting is legitimate or legitimized anything, but these are unvoted in, regulations made by bureaucrats. So it's just really silly. Who the fuck you guys think you are, etc. We talked about that meme with the actual tobacco being taken off, and there's like a scientist who's in this talking. He's like, this is really stupid that they're taking this stuff away, because we know cigarettes are bad for you, and this stuff can help people stop smoking cigarettes. So there is actually a little bit of somebody with some sense in it. One of my concerns, though, with tobacco-free nicotine, because I've actually heard this promoted on some ads for like tobacco-free like dips and stuff. And they're like, oh, it's tobacco-free nicotine. And they even say like, oh, that means it's not as bad for you because, it's just the nicotine, and tobacco's has got the bad stuff in it. And it's like, that's partially true. Like, there's a lot of bad stuff in tobacco, but nicotine itself is toxic. Like, it's very toxic. Like, you can overdose on it and die it doesn't take that much. Like, nicotine itself is very toxic. People have been using it as pesticides for a very long time. Like, it's not good for you. And I'm not talking shit about you, smoker babe. Hold on. I'm going to hit my jewel right now so I can be a total hypocrite. All right. But of course, my issue with this then is that maybe the synthetic stuff is worse for you. Like, who knows? But of course, with this regulation, people find a loophole, people keep selling this stuff, but there's always this chance that they're selling something that's worse for you. Maybe because it's synthetic instead of naturally derived, it's worse for you. Who knows? But of course, that's what happens when they make stupid shit illegal. There's a company in Germany that actually sells said synthetic nicotine. They make it and sell it, and they were typically selling the nicotine derived from tobacco. And they're talking to somebody from that company, and he says that they support regulation on the synthetic nicotine, and that he will gladly stop selling it if they make it illegal. And I'm just like, man, what kind of like unprincipled pieces of shit, It's like, yeah, I think this stuff's bad, but we're going to make it and sell it anyhow, and we're going to push for regulation on it. And then, we'll comply. But of course, I think they just want to sell like their tobacco-based nicotine. So just like most regulations, they're made just to, keep out competition and cartelize the industry. And let's see. Okay, there's one other good quote here. I think this is from some anti-vaping group or something. But he says, because he's talking about the people using synthetic nicotine and they don't have to submit to all the regulation because of that. He says these companies are proceeding under the assumption that they're simply unregulated. And that's a dangerous situation. I'm just like, good. Good. They should be proceeding if they're unregulated. If they all just did it and sold whatever they wanted, like, come on, man, you can't stop everybody. But I know, I mean, that's a tough call to make, but still true. Hey guys, quick pause here to tell you about our sponsor, DVault Cryptocurrency. Ticker symbol DVT is a low cap coin with a market cap around 900,000. So there could be room for opportunity here. Not financial advice, but we really like this project.
Yeah, the DVault core wallet is one of the best I've ever seen. Very user friendly, super easy to use with cold staking rewards. So it's like getting interest. They're working on privacy with Terraform, also DeFi to decentralize and replace financial institutions.
So go ahead and check them out over at devault.cc and get you a DVault core wallet today. Also, be sure to check out the show notes to find exchanges that they are traded on. With that said, let's get back to the show. And then on this same note, talking about smoking tyranny, we are going to be outdone once again by Australia, being way lame. They have a new vaping law that looks like it is passing the 1st of October. All nicotine vaping products will be available only by prescription, and which is ridiculous. But basically, and the only thing I can see for this being like the reason that they're saying to do it, I mean, besides the fact that I'm sure doctors can say no or something, but it seems like, because it'll mean that children won't be able to have access to it because it has to be prescribed. Because of course we know children never get hold of prescription medications or, or anything like that. Even though it's not prescribed to them, or, people can't just get that. And wouldn't that really just be like the same regulation as like you have to show an ID? Like, children still aren't allowed to buy nicotine products. So couldn't the same thing happen? Like older kids get a hold of them for them or something? I don't know. Seems silly, but I'm sure there's about to be a lot of black market vaping going on in Australia.
Yeah, I was just about to say, let the black market reign.
Yep.
I mean, granted, like I don't want anything to be banned, and I want people to have more freedom. But I mean, if the government's going to take away their own tax revenue, let them, right? So,
yeah.
So yeah, what else?
I haven't heard any updates. Well, I haven't heard any updates on the menthol. We were talking about menthol a while back, about them banning menthol. I haven't heard any updates about that. Maybe I'll look for that for the next episode. Let's stick with Australia. How about that? Had a lot of protests in Australia because of vaccine mandates. The news over here has been, like, as far as I can tell, silent about it, which, not that I like our mainstream news sources, but when you are just getting news from places you've never heard of, it's kind of like, at least I know what to expect with the ones around here. But this is actually an article from NPR, which I was surprised they had. And it's, when I say things are like good articles, a lot of times that means it's entertaining, not like it's a good piece of journalism. But there's some, this is really interesting. So allegedly these protests that went on for like 3 days were construction workers. I don't know if it's just in the city or the whole country, but basically they're saying that construction workers are responsible for like 13% of COVID cases. So they have mandated vaccines for construction workers. They're supposed to be vaccinated by the 23rd, but they rioted and, some stuff got damaged. And of course, they're calling it right off the bat in this NPR article, violent protests, which I don't know how they referred to the, like the Black Lives Matter protests, last summer that burned a lot of major cities, but they definitely didn't call them violent, right? So it's just funny how they, how they always make that work out. So basically it says construction workers are opposed to new restrictions made their positions known, and protests have escalated in recent days. Basically at first they closed down tea rooms and like lunch rooms and stuff, and workers took their lunch breaks outside. They started setting up chairs and tables in the roads, blocking roads and everything, eating their lunch in the roads. There was some bottles thrown, things of that nature. But anyhow, they start talking to people for the Construction Workers Union and BBC and news people and stuff. And they're saying, they're it's not actually union people doing this. It's pretend people. They're putting on high-vis vests, pretending to be construction workers, and they're actually, quote, extremists or people manipulated by extremists. So there's that key word that has been, really popping up here the last year or two. And of course, anything, if you're, anti-lockdown or anti-COVID restriction, you're an extremist. And what's the other thing they always want to call everybody? Nazis. Well, fear not. At the very next line, this crowd was heavily infiltrated by neo-Nazis and other right-wing extremist groups, and it is clear that a minority of those who participated were actual union members, the statement said. Others have alleged that neo-Nazis and anti-vaccination groups organized on encrypted social media platforms before arriving at the protest in high-vis clothing that looked like construction workers. So, man, you got people on encrypted, which is obviously bad, social media, meeting up to have Nazi parties in high-vis vests. There's a network of hard-right man-baby Nazis. This is the this is no longer the this is no longer the union person. This is actually a I guess he used to be a politician. It's so hard to tell, like, with their titles and stuff. But his name is Bill Shorten, a former opposition leader and current member of parliament. Okay, current member of parliament, who serves as shadow minister for the National Disability Insurance Scheme and for government services. He said in a TV interview that some protesters were fake tradies. And there's a network of hard right man baby Nazis, he said. People who just want to cause trouble. They want to complain about the vaccination, and they deserve to get the full force of everything that's coming their way. Well, I got a big fuck you to that guy, first off. But it's just funny how they characterize anybody who's against lockdowns. Oh, you're just a big man baby, small penis having, white supremacist, Nazi, fucking cis male, whatever, they just throw you into this, all the categories of people, you're allowed to hate. I mean, don't get me wrong, Nazis, you should hate them and everything, but he has no basis of evidence for this. He doesn't present any basis of evidence for this whatsoever, just throws that out there. And I mean, hey, I don't know who was there or not, but it's just really fucking hilarious. So basically they're shutting down all construction sites for 2 weeks. The new date is October 5th. Everybody is supposed to have their construction workers anyhow are supposed to have their shots. So, who knows what's actually going to happen, right? I mean, like, there was this protest and they pushed stuff back, but I mean, they still say there's a mandate to get it done. So, we'll see. Like, there's a lot of bullshit going on down there, right? I want to believe that a lot of the actual population themselves aren't down for this shit, but you let them take away your guns. What the fuck are you going to do? But if these people out there protesting are actually construction workers who are protesting the, getting, kind of hate to use the fucking word, the jab, then, that's really cool. That's really cool that people are showing that they're upset, at least, illegally protesting and everything. And then, of course, there's always the very real possibility that's all an op for whatever reason, that high-level thinkers are better than me at figuring out, So I don't know. There was a lot of police officers who actually got injured in some of these protests, like broken elbows, broken fingers, nothing too major. There was a lot of protesters that got injured, like hundreds of arrests. Most of the arrests weren't for like violence. It was just for violating lockdown restrictions. There was a 70-something-year-old lady who got pushed over and pepper sprayed by police. That was on video. I saw one story that said she died, but I haven't found anything to back that up. I don't think that's necessarily the case. But yeah, I mean, you take the picture, like, dude just standing over her, spraying her in the face with mace. It's like, man, like, I don't know, dude. They're fucking assholes. What do you think?
Yeah, these Australian protests are they're pretty crazy. And Melbourne's just nuts. I was sharing some stuff on my Twitter feed, and if you don't follow Agorist Acres on Twitter, we're at Agorist N. But yeah, I was sharing some of the footage from Australia, which is pretty pretty brutal down there. So yeah, take a look at that. But yeah, what else do we got, Dag?
Well, let's move on. Biden travel restrictions. Actually, in a lot of ways, and this is for people coming to the U.S., non-residents, particular. There are. What's funny though is we'll get to it in a second. So basically, in a lot of ways, it's easier. Like people who, like, let's say you live in the UK, like you can come visit the US now. If you had your vaccine, it's like you have like proof of the vaccination. Let me pull it up before I misquote it. It's basically like you have your vaccine, passport, whatever. You can come in. I think you still need a negative test. If you're a US citizen without a vaccine, you need a negative test from within like 24 hours. I think you need one like when you get on the plane. I think you need one when you get off. But some things change. Okay, Biden will also tighten testing rules for unvaccinated American citizens who will need to be tested within a day before returning to the U.S., as well as after they arrive home. The tougher rules for unvaccinated Americans come as the White House's move to impose sweeping vaccination or testing requirements affecting as many as 100 million people in an effort to encourage holdouts to get shots. So besides the fact that we know that the vaccine doesn't prevent you from spreading it or whatever, which basically means like the difference of some being vaccinated or not is for their own protection and safety. Let's assume that it keeps you from getting, let's say that what they say is true, that you get the shot and you get, okay, if you get it, you don't get it as bad. Okay. Then we have to say like, okay, well then the only reason to get the shot is to protect yourself. And if you're so concerned about people getting vaccinated, that should be the only thing you want people to protect themselves. So this would just be to punish people, right, for not getting it. They're just like this has been the whole fucking time, dude. There's no science behind any of this shit. One of the things I almost threw in our news story here, or news stories today, was they were talking to one of the head guys from the CDC. Is like, yeah, nobody knows where the 6 foot thing came from. Like we said 10 feet, and then like somebody else said 3 feet, so we sort of settled on 6 feet, and now they're saying 3 feet, so we can't keep saying 6 feet because it makes confusion. So, and it's just like there's no science behind any of that shit. It's just arbitrary fucking bullshit. So now I'm sure somebody in this world has gotten a fucking ticket or been assaulted by a police officer for not maintaining a 6 foot distance between somebody else. So like, that's fucked up, dude. I don't know. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so anyhow, that's the case with that. A lot of countries are changing who or what they're allowing in and when and this and that, but a lot of it has been with the vaccines coming into being, and a lot of it's just like meant to punish people who don't get the vaccine. They're just really, if you got the vaccine, then whatever, you can do whatever you want. And this isn't just us saying it. This is what they say. Like I said, I think that was a quote, never to encourage holdouts to get shots. So, fuck you guys. I don't fly anyhow. Okay. So, let's see our final story of the day. And it's not much of a story, to be honest. It's an opinion piece. It's entitled "Gun Buyback Programs in Philly Should Expand," and basically the person is making a case that we should be paying, or the government of Philadelphia or wherever else has gun violence should offer at least $1,000 for automatics and ghost guns and $500 for revolvers and gun buybacks. And he goes through and he's apparently a 4-time survivor of gun violence. I don't know if that means he got shot at 4 times in one event or 4 different events. I'm not making fun of him for that. He's in a wheelchair for it. That sucks. But he says, let me read my notes. He just goes into a lot of, everything's violence kind of thing. Structural violence represents the formal and informal systematic ways in which Philadelphians in certain zip codes are hindered from equal access to opportunities, goods, and services to meet their basic needs. And I don't know, dude, that's a stretch of calling things violence. You know what I mean? But at any rate, he digresses a lot from the point. But the reason I wanted to bring this up for all those agorists out there, the legal definition of a firearm is the lower receiver. So a lot of these gun buybacks, it doesn't have to be a working gun or anything. So if you have yourself a $200 3D printer and one of your cities is doing one of these gun buybacks, hey man, you might be able to whip up a whole bucket full of receivers for $20. So, just saying, man, you could retire on that shit. And of course it's funny because this is one of those situations of government where, by them trying to solve a problem like this or in this fashion, they could end up just making it worse. If they're paying that much for guns, it could lead people to import guns, right? Just for buybacks, if nothing else. I mean, $1,000 for a gun, you know what I mean? Like, dude, let's trade up, take your old shitty, $150 beater pistol, get you $1,000, go buy a nice one, it's just silly. What was that story? Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but it was something like the British were like, paying, like in India back in the day, they were paying for like cobra heads because they were trying to eradicate cobras. So people just started breeding cobras and, to get the heads and get money as a bounty. And so more cobras were bred. When the British figured out what was going on, the people just let all their caged cobras go. So there ended up being more cobras and like a bigger problem. It's just similar shit like that. Try and fix shit and fuck it up.
All right, let's take a quick second to shout out Agorist Acres Seeds. AgoristAcres.com stocks a variety of seeds for your garden or homestead. They also have really cool packaging instead of those silly paper envelopes.
Buy seeds with crypto, support the counter economy, and become self-sustaining today. Agorist Acres offers fast shipping so you can get started right away.
Make sure you use code Nexus10 at the checkout for 10% off of your orders. Also, they will donate a portion of the sale to Agorist Nexus, helping to bring you all the great content you expect. And all right, let's get on with it.
I was going to say I'm completely for gun buybacks. Like they should incentivize it even higher. Like instead of the $500 or $1,000 that you're saying, they should triple that.
Yeah, I ain't gonna argue.
Take the state's money, right, guys? So,
yep. I mean, hey, look, it's one of those things that's like, like wasting tax dollars or whatever. It's like, oh, like no, like there's that, that like, anytime like, the Fed or something does something that's it's bad monetary policy for us Austrians. It's like part of you wants to be like, you're the bow tie libertarian side. He wants to be like, no, that's bad. The other side, you're like, yeah, no shit, they're gonna do that. Like that's what they fucking do. Like, yeah, they're gonna fuck it up. Whatever, let's get it over with. Fuck it up worse, So, I definitely have the, the two sides of me like that. But yeah, man, fuck, they're gonna just give out money for fucking shitty guns, man. Hey, man, why not get in on it?
Right. Yeah.
That's it, man. That's my news. That's what I got for the week, guys.
Well, I've got a rant about crypto, and of course, China's going to ban it again. What a surprise! But I think that in the future we will see. Well, Tether's a really big concern because I think they're at what 30 billion or something, and they were backed by nothing. They're backed by Chinese bonds right now, which is pretty much nothing.
I'm sorry, is that USDT? Is that what you mean by Tether?
Tether, I forget which.
Tether a specific coin?
I just say Tether usually. I don't even mess with stable coins myself because.
But that's what you mean, one of those the stable coin, right? That's what you're talking about by Tether.
Yeah. Tether is USDT.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right on the symbol.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh no, I guess their market cap is 70 billion or something. So yeah, it's just it was all paper, and then I guess some of it's backed by like Chinese bonds or something. So, but so still worthless in my opinion, and so I think the crypto community has to be careful and vigilant as a whole with some of these stable coins, especially Tether, and I think in the future we will see the SEC and other government agencies around the world really clamp down on crypto. So all these centralized cryptos like Binance Coin and some of these other ones, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So, yeah, I mean, it's in my mind, it's inevitable process because I mean, government is just, you know, they're going to do whatever they can to keep control of their currency. So, and yeah, and if they can wipe out some centralized platforms or centralized currencies, they'll definitely do that. And you know, a lot of people, they'll sit here, like on Twitter, I'll be discussing something completely different, and then it won't even be related to like what's your favorite coin, right? Or like it'll just be something completely like different from what I'm talking about, and or these people will comment completely different things from what I'm talking about, and it's like talking at you instead of talking with you, and and you know, it's like, oh, this coin, you know, or oh yeah, this coin, and I'm like, well, that wasn't even like part of the question, or it wasn't even like, and so anyways, it's just you know, everyone's so tribal, and I think that's really kind of destroying the cryptocurrency. It's like not destroying not destroying cryptocurrencies, but like more of like, how do I want to put this, like culturally. And I think that like tribally, to have that tribal mindset, or to like just to do anything to pump your own bags, I think we've really got to like evaluate ourselves on that. Because I've been guilty of it in the past. I think we all have, but I try to reflect on my actions. And so yeah, and you know, if somebody says that there's one perfect coin for everything, they're lying, because you know, big like Bitcoin is completely transparent blockchain. Ethereum, completely transparent blockchain. Bitcoin Cash, completely transparent blockchain. You can cash fusion. Hopefully that helps. You know, in the future they'll have like, you know, quantum computing that could possibly hack that or something. Well, not hack it, but find, you know, find the transaction that you're trying to conceal, and where it went. And you know, with Monero, it's like, well, you know, everyone says, well, Monero's perfect coin. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Monero, but an issue with Monero is that you can't audit it. You can't. You don't know exactly how many coins are in circulation. Like somebody could have, you know, somebody could put in coins, just create coins out of, you know, and exist. Some hacker could just create coins into existence without anybody knowing it, and you wouldn't be able to audit it, or to see it, you know, actually how many coins are on the blockchain today. So there's that. And then, you know, and then these people are like, well, what about these, you know, zero knowledge proof coins? Well, you know, do we really know anything about ZK snarks? Do we know enough about it? Do we know that? Are there any vulnerabilities? You know, and if somebody could, you know, if somebody knows a whole lot about it, please come on and tell me more. But I don't think that there's like one coin to rule them all. I don't think that there's this is the perfect coin yet. I still think that we should try to keep an open mind, and work to create a better future. And so that's really my mindset on crypto right now. I think that there are a lot of great projects, but I don't think that as a whole, we really know, exactly which ones are going to lose and which ones are going to win. But I do think that privacy will be, because again, I mean, eventually the government will crack down on all cryptos and, implement their own central bank, digital currencies or whatever. And yeah, so, I think privacy coins will be definitely key in the future. Which ones will be the best ones to have is still yet to be seen. But there's a lot of projects that I like that are not privacy coins. So, but I definitely think that if you don't have any privacy coins in your portfolio, that you definitely should have some. So, that's all I got, Dag.
I like all of that. If I could a note or two or a thought, I definitely agree that it's different coins are different. It's not even like a coin, like not, they don't have to be like for currency purposes, right? But like, they're different ones for different uses for different means. Like having like a privacy coin or a privacy option, I think is a must have, and great. But obviously there's some things that don't need to be private, or the point of them might not to be, like things like certain like smart contracts and stuff like that. Like maybe the point is to show that you own something, so that, doesn't necessarily need to be private, or maybe private to an extent, and then, there's a lot of things that, again, like just different blockchains that do different things. So like the ones that and this is a little above my head here, so forgive me if my like lingo's off, but like some of them allow you to do things like smart contracts. There's some that have some really cool potential to, do a lot of like record keeping and stuff like that can make city hall obsolete. House titles, vehicle titles, stuff like that. A lot of that can be moved, I think, to the blockchain to be done better, more efficiently, which, is really cool. And then, of course, there's, things like utility tokens, like with, Presearch. Obviously, that's how their advertising works. You get rewards for using it. Similar with, library. I always forget the LBRY, LRB, whatever, Odyssey, that token, that has a use as well. So yeah, man, there's a lot to it. I really think that keeping an open mind about them and, knowing that we're still kind of in the infancy of this thing, you know what I mean? I think that, and I'm not talking trash about anybody, but like, some people get really all gung-ho on one coin. They might put a lot into it. They really believe in it, whatever. And I mean, all those are valid. But yeah, they might get really like, no, it has to be just this one. And, maybe one day it will be too, who knows? But
yeah,
for now, people are going to go with what works and what gives them value in one way or another. So, I definitely think, it doesn't hurt to diversify a little bit. I see value in a lot of different coins, even ones that are used as currency, so yeah, it's definitely been an exciting year or two in the crypto space, and I'm pretty new to it, so it's been pretty exciting for me the whole time. But yeah, man, I don't know. I guess that's what I got. It's like I said, exciting times. Getting to see some real adoption and everything. Having it being used more. It's getting easier, and that's really exciting. They're going to try to regulate it, or at least regulate it in a way where they can get a cut or tax it, right? Because it's not always, something's going on, they want to stop it. It's like, well, let's get our beaks wet, so who knows? But I definitely agree with you. Having a privacy option will be a good thing to have, just because, you never know where it's going to end up. So
yeah. I mean, you should have something in privacy coins, right? Like, for sure.
Yeah, or at least the ability, like you said, even like if you have Bitcoin Cash, like not necessarily private, but you can make it private, at least pretty private, pretty easily. So, that's a pretty versatile one. I mean, everybody knows we're fans of them. But yeah, otherwise, if they're like Monero or R or something like that, definitely definitely nice.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a quote to finish this thing off?
Dude, I did like 2 hours of research for the podcast today. And you know what I didn't even think to do was look up a quote. You you want to come in and save me with one?
Yeah. There's a cool Carl Hess quote. I can't remember it though.
Oh, I saw a banging Carl Hess quote floating around today. Probably the same one. Yeah, that was good. I don't remember it though. You know, I haven't actually, other than like, you know, like a essay or something here or there, I haven't actually read any Carl Hess, like any of his books or anything. I've looked through them up to try to buy them, and I mean, it seems like they must not be in print because they were fucking expensive, dude. And you know, I'm sure I could probably find like free PDFs or something, you know, but I like a book, dude. You know, especially when it's something, you know, something cool like, you know, like Carl has like community technology, you know, teaching you how to, you know, build aquaponic systems in your bathtub and shit or whatever. I've just heard that's what's in it. But yeah, man, like I really wanted to get some of his books, but I've had a hard time finding any of them. I should just suck it up and just get PDFs or digital copies for now and be on the lookout. But
yeah. Oh yeah. Here's the quote if you're ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
Whenever you put your faith in well, it says big government, but I would change that to government. Whenever you put your faith in big government for any reason, sooner or later you wind up an apologist for mass murder. Carl Hess, Agorist Nexus out.
Peace.